My name is Riley, and at 30 years old, I'm still trying to process the sheer audacity. My now ex Derek, 32, and I were together for about 3 years. Lived together for the last one in my place. Things had been okay, or so I thought. Maybe a little rockier the last few months. More arguments, him being generally dismissive. I chalked it up to stress from his job. About a month ago, I overheard a snippet of a video call he was on with his best friend, Simon, 29M. Derek was in the living room. I was in the kitchen, and he wasn't exactly quiet. He was going off about me, criticizing everything from my taste in music to how I loaded the dishwasher, making snide comments about my family. It wasn't just venting. It was mean-spirited, almost contemptuous. My stomach just sank. I didn't say anything then, just kind of retreated, feeling like I'd been punched. Later that week, I tried to talk to him about feeling a bit disconnected. He was immediately defensive. Derek, what are you even talking about? I'm fine. Me? Okay. Well, sometimes it feels like you're not happy with me or things I do. Oh, so now you can't have opinions. Can't talk to my friends about my own relationship. It's not about that, Derek. It's the way you talk. I overheard you the other day with Simon, and it was pretty harsh. His face hardened. Look, Riley, what I say to my friends is my business. I can talk about whoever I want, however I want. It's called venting. You're being overly sensitive. So there's no line for you? No such thing as disrespect when it comes to me? As long as it's to your friends, Riley, you absolutely can talk to your friends about me if you want. I don't care. It's not a big deal. Then he literally shrugged and picked up his phone, signaling the conversation was over. That was the moment something just snapped. The casual dismissal, the total lack of remorse. It wasn't just that he was saying these things, it was that he felt completely entitled with zero regard for my feelings. You absolutely can. Okay. The next day, Simon texted me. Hey, can we talk privately? We met for coffee. He looked uncomfortable. Simon, I need to tell you something. Derek says a lot of stuff about everyone, not just you, and honestly, I'm kind of sick of it. It's gotten worse lately. He then admitted that sometimes when Derek got really wound up and contradictory, he'd started recording snippets of their calls, mostly audio, sometimes screen recordings when Derek was showing texts from other people and then trashing them. Simon said it started as a way to keep track of Derek's shifting narratives because he would often deny saying things or twist them later. He said he had hours of Derek just being awful about his job, other friends, even his own family, and yes, plenty about me. Simon looked genuinely conflicted. I feel like a terrible friend for even telling you this, let alone recording anything. But the way he spoke to you after you overheard him and how he talks about you when you're not there, it's not okay. He told me I was being super controlling for bringing it up. I was floored by Simon's confession, but also validated. I told Simon about Derek's I can talk about whoever I want line. Simon just shook his head. That's Derek. That night I ended it with Derek calmly. Derek, this isn't working. Your attitude towards me, the things you say, I'm done. He was actually surprised, then annoyed. Seriously? Over that little conversation? You're being dramatic. No, I'm being serious. We're done. I'd like you to move out, Derek. Wow, fine, whatever. He seemed more irritated about the inconvenience than the breakup itself. No sadness, no questions, just entitlement, like I was a minor inconvenience. I ended it with Derek about 10 days ago. He moved most of his stuff out a couple of days later, huffing and puffing. In the days that followed, Simon and I kept talking. He was a huge support, and honestly, we connected on a level I hadn't with Derek in a long, long time. Simon felt guilty about Derek, but Derek had apparently been a pretty toxic friend to him for years, and this was the last straw for him too. 3 days ago, Simon and I had a long talk and acknowledged there was something more between us. We decided to officially see where things went. Dating, I guess you'd call it. The next evening, though, 2 days ago now, Simon and I went out for dinner in a public place. We weren't being overtly coupley, but I guess someone Derek knows saw us. It must have taken a day to get back to him because this morning my phone absolutely exploded. All Derek, voicemails, texts. How could you? With Simon, my best friend. You absolute snake. I knew you were trying to get with him. This is the ultimate betrayal. Both of you are disgusting. The irony is so thick I could spread it on toast. He can say whatever he wants, but me, moving on with someone who actually treats me with respect and who he alienated, is unacceptable betrayal. Simon's getting it too, apparently. Derek's brother, Reuben, 28M, has also jumped on the bandwagon, sending Simon abusive messages. So yeah, this is where we are. He wanted no big deal. Let's see how this plays out. Update 1, 2 weeks later. All right, so it's been a couple of weeks since Derek found out about me and Simon. The meltdown was, and continues to be, spectacular. Thanks for the comments on the original post. Good to know I'm not the crazy one here. Derek's initial barrage of calls and texts eventually died down when I just stopped responding directly. I think he expected me to engage to argue so he could play the victim. When I didn't, he moved on to phase 2, the smear campaign and flying monkey deployment. His brother Ruben became chief attack dog. Ruben started posting vague passive-aggressive stuff on social media. Watching someone I love get betrayed by 2 people they trusted is sickening. Some people have no loyalty. A few of Derek and Ruben's mutuals started giving Simon the side-eye online. Simon's pretty tough, but it clearly bothered him. Then Derek started messaging our wider circle of acquaintances, not even mutual friends, just people we both knew. His narrative: I was a manipulative monster who was probably cheating on him with Simon for ages, and Simon was a backstabbing user who preyed on me in a vulnerable moment to break us up. According to Derek, he'd been suspicious of Simon for months. It was almost impressive how quickly he spun it. Conveniently, his own charming habit of trashing everyone was never mentioned. The entitlement is just breathtaking. Last weekend, Derek's mom, Mrs. Morgan, first name Laura, actually called me. Riley, dear, I know things are tense, but Derek is just heartbroken. You know how sensitive he is. With all due respect, Mrs. Morgan, Derek ended things with his behavior long before I officially did, and his sensitivity doesn't give him a pass to treat people badly. But Simon, his best friend, don't you think that was a bit cruel? Perhaps you could just cool things off with Simon for a while. Give Derek some space to heal. I was dumbfounded. You want me to stop seeing someone I'm happy with to placate Derek, who explicitly told me he didn't care what I did or who I spoke to? Well, he didn't mean it like that. Riley, he was upset. And Simon should have known better. Friends don't do that to each other. Friends also don't constantly berate and belittle their partners and other friends. Derek made his choices. Simon made his. I made mine. She huffed, said I was being very unfeeling, and hung up. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. I guess they genuinely believe Derek is the sole victim here. Simon, meanwhile, has been a rock. The attacks from Derek and Ruben and the cold shoulder from some of Derek's clique initially made him second-guess everything. He felt immense guilt over those recordings. Simon said, "Maybe I am a terrible friend. Maybe I should have just deleted them and never said anything." Simon, you recorded him because he was being a bad friend to you. You told me because you saw him being a bad partner to me. His actions caused this, not yours. The turning point for Simon's guilt came last week. Derek, in a fit of pique, sent Simon a string of absolutely vile text messages, not just "you betrayed me," but personal attacks on Simon's appearance, job, and family. Pure venom. He even wrote, "I gave you my friendship and you spat on it, you ugly, desperate loser. Riley will get sick of you too." Simon just stared at his phone. Then he looked at me and said, "Okay, I'm done feeling guilty." He had shown his true colors to me one too many times. He still wasn't sure about the recordings. He was like, "It feels wrong to use them," like stooping to his level. It's not about stooping, it's about truth. He's actively trying to destroy our reputations with lies. We have proof of his actual behavior. We don't have to release them to the world, but maybe to the right people if he keeps pushing. Then came the first dirty trick. I volunteer at a local animal shelter on weekends. Suddenly, the shelter coordinator, a lovely older lady named Cynthia, got an anonymous email. It claimed that I had anger issues, had been seen behaving erratically, and might be unsuitable for working with animals or the public. The email was clearly designed to get me kicked out. Cynthia knows me well enough and just showed it to me, concerned. The phrasing had Derek/Ruben written all over it. Erratic behavior is one of their favorite dramatic terms. That was when Simon said, "Okay, Riley, enough is enough. If he's going to play dirty like this, the gloves are off. How do you want to do this?" The recordings, we haven't used them yet, but they're on the table. Derek really has no idea what he's truly started. He thought he could control the narrative. He's about to find out what "I can talk about whoever I want" really means when his words come back to bite him. Final update, 2 months later. It's been a ride. After that anonymous email to the animal shelter, Simon and I decided we weren't going to just sit back and let Derek and his crew run a smear campaign based on total fabrications. Derek truly believed he was untouchable and that his version of events was the only one people would hear. He underestimated Simon, and he definitely underestimated how tired people were of his antics. So, the revenge, if you want to call it that, wasn't some big dramatic public reveal. It was strategic and quiet, tailored to counteract Derek's specific lies with his own words. First, there was mutual friend Kathleen. Derek had apparently been feeding Kathleen a steady diet of "Riley is so controlling" and "Simon is a homewrecker" stories. Kathleen started acting distant towards me and Simon. So Simon, with my blessing, sent Kathleen a very carefully selected 2-minute audio clip. It was Derek a few months back, absolutely shredding Kathleen for forgetting his birthday for half a day, calling her a thoughtless, selfish person, and mocking a personal issue Kathleen had shared in confidence. It was followed by another clip of Derek telling Simon how he keeps Kathleen around for entertainment. Kathleen called Simon within the hour, horrified and apologetic. She said, "I had no idea. He always played the victim with me, too. The thing he said about you, Simon, and now hearing what he said about me, that friendship imploded spectacularly." Kathleen actually posted a very cryptic, "Be careful who you trust, sass online," our very convincing message. Derek probably thought it was about us. Oh, the irony. Next was Derek's attempt to mess with Simon's freelance graphic design work. Derek knew some of Simon's old clients. He started subtly suggesting to one of them, a guy named Donald who runs a small marketing agency, that Simon was unreliable and going through a lot of personal drama. Donald was hesitant to give Simon a new project. This time I sent Donald an email. "Hi, Donald. Heard there might be some concerns. Just wanted to share something that might provide context about where these concerns could be originating." Attached was a short screen recording of a video call Simon had saved. It showed Derek complaining to Simon about how boring and stupid Donald's design requests were, how he overcharged him because he's clueless, and how he was stringing him along for easy money when Simon had done minor freelance work for him years ago. Donald's reply was swift. "Consider Simon's project confirmed, and thank you. This is eye-opening." He also mentioned he wouldn't be engaging Derek for anything ever. The biggest fallout came via Derek's family. After Mrs. Morgan's call to me, Derek's dad, Mr. Morgan, first name Stephen, decided to weigh in. He was more direct, basically telling me I was dishonoring Derek and needed to correct the situation, implying I should apologize and dump Simon. This time, Simon and I sat down and compiled a greatest hits of Derek's commentary on his own family. Snippets of him calling his parents clueless boomers who just enable Reuben's laziness, complaining about how they never gave him enough, paid for his car and half his rent when he lived alone before me, and detailed rants about how Reuben was the favored child who got away with everything. We didn't send it to them directly. Simon sent it to Derek's aunt, Aunt Sharon Morgan, with whom Simon had always had a decent relationship. Aunt Sharon was apparently known for being no nonsense. We heard through the grapevine that Kathleen, who still had some tentacles in that extended family, played some of those clips from Mr. and Mrs. Morgan. They were mortified and speechless. Their attempts to defend Derek apparently faltered when faced with his actual recorded voice saying those things. The smear campaign died a very quick death after that. People who had initially sympathized with Derek started backing away when they realized his victim narrative was full of holes and that he was just as vicious about them behind their backs. His circle of friends shrank considerably. Reuben is still staunchly teamed with Derek, of course, but his rants now fall on deaf ears mostly. Derek himself, he's furious, naturally. He sent a few more sputtering texts about privacy invasion and how dare you record him. Again, the irony. Simon just replied with a screenshot of Derek's original text. "I can talk about whoever I want, however I want. It's called venting." Derek had no comeback to his own words. He had to move into a smaller apartment. Apparently, his parents tightened financial support after the revelations. Last I heard from Kathleen, Derek is complaining to anyone who will listen about how everyone betrayed him and how Simon and I ruined his life. Zero self-awareness, zero remorse, just pure uncut entitlement. He genuinely believes he did nothing wrong. Simon and I are doing great. It was a trial by fire, but it solidified us. We're communicating, we're honest, and we actually respect each other. My apartment feels peaceful now. We even adopted a cat from the shelter." Cynthia was thrilled, and the anonymous email is now a running joke. The revenge wasn't about destroying Derek. It was about protecting ourselves and exposing the truth in a way he couldn't deny because it was his own voice. He wanted to talk about whoever he wanted, and he did. And those words had consequences. He built his own cage. We just helped him find the door to it. It's satisfying to know that he didn't get away with his manipulations. The best part is the silence. No drama, no accusations, just peace. Time to fully move on.